Oh, okay.
And my my 347, that I was having trouble with that line, so.
Okay, very well. So you're listening, right?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Okay, very well. At any rate, I want to elaborate on a few of them, all right? You know, a lot of people are very concerned, specifically as an astrologer. Unfortunately, the 99% of my clients are strictly women, all right? And both of you, I know both of you got to have the same, not only because we just spoke of it, because that's what it is. Women are usually receptive to the signs where men are not. But the natal promise, when women usually call, it's about money, love, and money. You know, Venus is the planet of femininity, of feminine expression on a creative level, or feminine expression on a desire for comfort, right? So when we see that, you have to look at aspects between Venus and Uranus, okay? Venus, aspect between Venus and the Sun, you know. A woman who has Venus in good aspect or in comfortable or harmonious aspect between the, she's promised a loving partner and the opportunity to manifest a child and the opportunity to make money very easily. Most of these people, if they're not physically beautiful, they attract a mass of people to them by virtue of the fact of their tact, of their idiosyncrasy, or their idiosyncratic character, right? People who have Venus square the Sun have a difficulty in relationships when it comes to self-control, because the Sun deals with self-control. So, you know, tonight was a blessing in disguise. We don't have a lot of callers who want charts to be read, right? So the people, this tonight is for our students. So we need to educate those who are interested how to actually analyze aspects that exist in the chart, you know, and derive from that what is promised, okay? The average individual studying astrology uses their own chart as a foundation for their education, which anything otherwise would be less than civilized, okay? Because you need to see how it works on you before you can even investigate how it works on another. So if you have specific aspects in your chart that are entwined, that are 120 degrees apart, that are between 115 to 125 degrees apart, or that are inside of the same element. In other words, you have planets in Scorpio and or Pisces and or Cancer. You have planets in Gemini and or Libra and or Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. That's right, Aquarius. You have planets in Earth signs, which is Capricorn and or Cancer. Capricorn and or Virgo and or Taurus. These things represent talents that you have when they are in relationship in the same place. When they are square, when you have planets in any one of the two or more, or all four, or three, in signs of Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, or Leo. And you have signs in Leo and in Scorpio, in Leo and in Aquarius, or in Aquarius and Scorpio, as long as it's a 90-degree aspect. These are disciplines that you need to establish in order to manifest the talents that come from these degrees. This is your natal promise with that regard, okay? And this show will be archived this week. By Wednesday, you'll have it, right? We'll have it on YouTube at youtube.com//COZMOPHYZIX, in case you missed something, all right? But you need to look at the aspects and understand the aspect, which is part of the elementary manifestation of planetary exchange, so that you can read it, so that you can analyze it in your birth chart. If you
what about textiles?
Okay, I'm going to go into that. If you use astro.com or any astrological software, which I recommend you to do because that's the shortcut, all right, then those lines that are red represent challenges that if you overcome them, if you manifest the discipline for them, you will be able to maximize what they represent. If you choose to let them become overcomable aspects in your life, then these will be your excuses for not succeeding. All right? Textiles are 60-degree angles. In other words, you have a circle. From one point on that arc of the circle to another point to 60 degrees is a sextile. Astrologically speaking, it is a first to the third house aspect, or a second to the fourth house aspect, or a third to the fifth house aspect, and so on. All right? They're 60 degrees apart. These represent opportunities for growth. Opportunities is the key word. It's not something that you naturally have. It represents something that you can easily grasp if you apply yourself. So I'm going to say that again. A sextile represents an exchange of energy that you can easily grasp if you apply yourself. A trine represents something that you were born with, a natural ability, a natural inclination. It's not always good, because a trine between the Sun and Neptune gives a person the natural inclination to escapism. So drug abuse and escapism and denial is a natural inclination. So your trines and your turbulent aspects and your harmonious aspects are to be contended with on a positive and a negative note. Neither there is no such thing as an aspect that promises all good. This is the divinity in you. This is you are created in God's image. This is you are created as a flesh and blood representative of the Creator on this planet aspect. You know, you have the ability to turn all of this into something good. So, you know, I get constantly from clients when I read their natal promise. They're like, is that good or bad? Well, it depends on how you want to use it. You were born with an axe in your hand. Now, because you were born with it, then you naturally know how to use it. You can use this to tear down walls, or you can use it to build walls. You can use it to chop down trees, and then you can take these trees and sell them as fire, as fuel for a fire to keep a house warm. You can use it to chop down trees and turn it into lumber so people can build houses. Or you can use it in the most malefic or the most malicious of ways. You can use it to assault people, which brings you bad karma, which does not bring you any true benefit. You can use it to chop down people's front doors and remove security for the life of people. And people think that because they choose to use it in a certain capacity, they have the total control over it. You have control over it with regard to how you're going to use it, for better or for worse. You do not have any control over where you can use it most efficiently, where it suits you the best. So if you use it where it's been given to you, it will suit you the best. If you seek to misuse it, which you have the choice to do, you will not always succeed. You know, and the dependency upon whether you can use it in that manner depends on aspects that are made to it by progress. I mean, by present planetary position, you know, to where it's going. Look, we have a half hour left at this point. I would like to elaborate further on the idea of other planets, and I would like to enlighten those that are listening, and to those who catch the stream, who catch the archive. How
you didn't elaborate on the opposition.
Yeah, okay, good. We're going to elaborate on our position. We're going to elaborate on every other aspect. But we're going to use as many planets as we can. We got a half hour left, and, you know, that gives each of us 10 minutes. We don't each have to take 10 minutes. You know, we can evenly distribute it, taking turns every 3 minutes or every 10 minutes. It doesn't make any difference, all right? We did this show tonight is for students, basically, for those who wish to implement the study of this. So you have a specific opposition in mind?
Actually, I wanted to talk about, and it does talk about aspects too, certain triads. But a lot of people, I find a lot of people that I read often ask this, especially since the age we're living in and what we're doing, especially a lot of students we're getting. the aspects of their or how to identify their natural psychic abilities. And one of the things that was mentioned, actually Samaya had mentioned it once before, and I'm gonna mention it again, is the fact that the water houses and the water signs and the rulers of those water elements, and how they can illuminate to you your psychic abilities, and if you can use them easily, then they're within triads of each other, the water triads, or if you have to be disciplined and have to overcome certain obstacles in order to utilize them, meaning they're within squares, and there'll be opportunities to to get better at them, through the sextiles and stuff, or reason or ways that you can balance them in order to overcome opposition. So I wanted to kind of see if you could elaborate